Well, I'm getting the router set up. I've got a piece that makes a radius router bit in there right now, but it's smaller than this one and I need a bigger radius. I'm cutting a piece of wood to put across those two stainless steel tubes I'll show in a minute up on the back of the boat, where there used to be a seat that went around like a lounge, and I got rid of that. I don't want all that seating in this boat. And I'm going to make a mahogany rail going across there. So Joel and I just got there just a minute ago and we cut a piece to length, and we're going to continue trying to put a radius on the corners. I want a little bit bigger radius so nobody will whack their head, you know, on a sharp corner out there in the seas and get hurt. So we want a nice dull corner. So then we're going to do that, and then I got one of the bits already here in my pocket that we're going to cut out a slot for those pipes to go up in. I'll show you out here in just a minute. So this is the piece I'm working on. I'm going to try to cut a bigger radius, see if I can take more of this rough edge out, because I don't want to cut the wood down. And I had a small radius on it but didn't like it. So now I got the piece of wood router, got a nice radius on it here and all. We've got it marked here where we're going to cut out a couple slots. Right here I've got a bit that I can cut down in there with. Joel's getting some thin wood for a guide, and it's going to go right here on these tubes that used to make for the backrest on that seat, and I got rid of all the seat, and I'm going to router that in where it's mitered in, and where those tubes will be a little bit more flush, and bolt it in right there, and then it's nice and locked into, and it'll go from right here with the door, little door, I still have that door, from where it was right there over to the side over here, and that'll provide me a safety rail. All right, and there it is right there, and that looks good. So tomorrow, it's almost the end of the day, so we got to put our tools stuff up, but tomorrow I'll get Joel to plane that around the corners up there with sandpaper, so everything's got a radius so nobody can get hurt on anything. And I've got some stainless steel bolts that actually was in that seat right there that I can repurpose right back in it. I think it looks pretty good, man. Come down here and look at it, Joel. You can leave it right there.
Nice fit.
I think so. That's a good safety rail right there. Yeah. So some of the boats I've had from the manufacturer, that's what they had, was like, you know, teak wood across the back. And man, that's not uncommon. That'll look pretty good. We'll get it dressed up and then we put a nice finish on it. I'll go buy that urethane that we use on the doors.
Yes, boss.
I need to buy some more anyway, and we'll use that on there because that's that floor urethane. It'll hold up better on there. Well, I took the boat out this morning and backed it down the ramp, and I want to let it run for a while and make sure this water pump in this lower unit, which is the original one on the boat, make sure that pump was pumping submerged, not down with muffs where you got a water hose pushing the pressure. So I want to just leave it on the trailer and let it sit there in the water and run. And that's pretty steep down out there, so the boat was at a pretty good angle. The water pump great. It was absolutely a beast, man. Boy, did it blow the water out. I took the pipe loose from the inlet on the motor where it's blowing it into the engine, and man, oh man, was it pumping good. So shut it off, did that. Then I was going to let it run for a little bit, capping I was, and it started cutting out, and I could tell it was starving for fuel. And I pulled the fuel filter, had a little bit of stuff in the little one up on the carburetor, a little Piper one. And I said, well, now that carburetor was in my shed in Texas. It's a new carburetor. It was sealed in some plastic, but not perfect. And we do get those little spiders and dirt daubers and things like that. They could have made a nest in the inlet to that, and where the fuel goes in, and that could have been what that was. So took the filter out, and I didn't have a replacement on hand for that little Piper one, but I ordered some though. I ordered me 6 of them today. So I said, well, I'll just clean that one up. It's a new filter, and just flush it with some detergent on the inside. Got some engine degreaser spray in there, and blow a little air pressure on the outside back out, and the way the stuff got in, the stuff can go back out. So flushed it till it was all good and clean and working good again. But I told Cap, I said, you know, we were on a pretty good slope back there, and he was actually, I don't know which one of us thought it first. It might have been him, might have been me, I don't know. We think a lot alike. And I said, and he said, or one of us said, that the boat was on a pretty good incline, you know. And so if there was anything in the bottom of that tank and we were on that really good slope, it would have went right back to where the pickup was, because the pickup's in the very back of the tank, this end towards the motor. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna take out, there's a plug in the tank right there, and I'm gonna run a 3/8 fuel line down through that plug in the tank right at the very back, and right down at the bottom I'm gonna take this little electric fuel pump I have, and I'm gonna pump right off the bottom, because that's where all the sediment goes. Now that might not have been why the boat wasn't running, but it was something I wanted to check anyway. And the pickup tube going to the engine out of the tank stays off the tank, off the bottom, I don't know, a little ways, maybe an inch and a half off the bottom, so it doesn't pick up all that stuff, and you got a place for all that sediment to go. But then when you get out there and the water's sloshing around, it can stir back up. So I said, you know what, let's just pull the boat back out. Let's pull it up here. I'm gonna jack the front up really high, which I did. Got blocks and stuff and a jack there too to help support it. Jacked it up real high where the bike was down on that tank again. Let it sit there for a while undisturbed. Ran a 3/8 fuel line down through that plug I removed. Make sure the end of the line hit right into that bottom V of the tank down in there at the lowest point. And I started pumping, and I got nasty stuff out of it. I had a clear, like 1 gallon jug. I don't know what that was in liters. It's a pretty big jug, maybe more than a gallon. And I could see everything coming through. But also on that fuel pump, it has a glass bowl, and I could see everything coming through too. And boy, was I sucking some muck right off that bottom. Even though I have cleaned on that tank in the past, guess more has broke loose. But then it wouldn't pump anymore because it completely clogged over the screen inside of my little electric pump that I was pumping that off the bottom of the tank with. And it's kind of a I don't know how you describe it. It's kind of greasy like feeling, you know. Yeah, it's got like a greasy like feeling to it. But now this tank's been treated, so it shouldn't be anything like algae and all, unless it's where I killed it before. I do run treatments through this tank, some really good ones that I order in, not just some run-of-the-mill stuff off the shelf, some well-known, and same stuff we use in our tractors and stuff back in the States too. And it works good. And actually I was able to find that here in the Philippines, and when I looked at it, it said it was made right there in McKinney, Texas. Man, that's right right back home. So I'm gonna blow this off. It's a wire filter. I'm gonna blow it off. I'm gonna put it back in my electric pump, and I've let the boat sit there and settle for a while again, and then I'm gonna repeat the same procedure. I'm gonna suck off that bottom, down in that bottom V with the boat leaned up in the front right here, and until I'm just pulling clear fuel, and then it should be okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull the brand new fuel filter, the big main one with the water separator, off and flush it also. I've got a spare for it, but I'm gonna go ahead, that's a brand new filter, and I'm just gonna back flush it until I get this situation rectified, and then I'll put a nice fresh one on once again. So it's just some of the heartaches of dealing with something that sat for a long time, man. That is just some of the heartaches. Just like you drag an old barn find car or motorcycle or something, you're gonna have a headache, and fuel tanks is usually one of the headaches, you know, on bikes and cars and all. So anything that's been sitting, and these fuels just don't sit very long, and plus you add the fact of moisture and marine and all that, yeah, it can be a real headache. Well, anyway, I'm gonna continue this and just being open and honest and transparent, because somebody else could run into the same problem. Alright, Cap, let her rip, tater chip. What does it look like? A little caustic air around the opening where the sending unit went in. It's actually not that bad. That's just a little caustic dirt around the opening. I'm going to clean all that up. The rest around the tank is all pretty nice. I think I have a brand new fuel sending unit I can put in. Right now we're going to suck this tank clean, and any debris will get caught by the screen right here, and I can see what's coming out. So I think I done plugged the filter over now. It doesn't look like it's plugged over, but boy, I sucked a bunch of crap up right there. It doesn't look like it's completely clogged up. Still sucking the tank out here. This is about the 4th time cleaning that screen out. Sometimes mucked a little bit more than this. I'm sucking right off the bottom of the tank, and I work this thing around. I'm just stopping right now to record this, but I work that hose all around down the bottom V of that tank, pulling all this stuff out. I tell Cap every time that I clog this filter up, it's one of the filters up on the engine I'm not clogging later. So every once in a while it plugs up right in here. I take this hose off and punch through and get like a bigger piece of debris out. But it's just old crystallized crap and all. It's coming along. I think we'll get it all cleaned out pretty good. Check that out. Wow. Wow. But I'm not hardly getting any more though. I worked it forever to get this, and I just every once in a while see a little particle come in, because I'm watching as it's going down into the bowl. And I'm really working that tube on that bottom all over the place in a big circle, and just jabbing the heck out of it, trying to stir the liquid up. And I think we're getting about to the last of it. At least it's in that section and baffle of the tank. There could be some behind that baffle on each side.
Of the debris?
Yeah, because I can only get into the middle section right there. But that's the deepest part of the tank right there too. It's made to settle in, you know. And then those tubes in the back are made not to go to the bottom, and they have a little metal plate below them to try to deter debris from going up to those. So I think we're probably getting it. Always going to be in these tanks a little bit of sediment in the bottom. But man, we've sucked most of the sediment out. It's probably the best this tank's been in years and years. You can get a little look at that muck, just those sediment stuff out bottom of the tank. Now this is really working it all in there on the bottom, very deep V of the tank to make it suck this up. But man, we've done this numerous times, and I'm really not getting nothing anymore. So I'm gonna clean it this time. Go ahead if you want. You want to feel what that's like. Some of it's just like debris, right? What is that? I mean, it's not all the same thing.
It doesn't feel like sand. It feels like crystals. Because
it's probably where old gas shellacked in there a long time ago.
Because when I can rub it in my hand and between my fingers, it dissolves.
And that's probably what's turning that fuel, because this is old shellac.
Yep.
And that treatment I put in there that time probably broke it down and made it fall off, because I noticed everything seems to have crystallized.
Yeah.
And
because, yeah, that it feels like crystals, and then I can rub it around and it dissolves.
See if it'll turn on the light. We'll turn on the light there where y'all can see that even more. Look at that. So I have ran different types of cleaners and treatments through this tank, and even detergents before. Now, Cap and I, we just now took that endoscope camera, and it's just a cheap budget brand one. It's not real good, but I was actually able to look all around the tank. Cap and I both did over on my laptop, and I could see the baffles, I could see the openings through the baffles, I could see all the welds in the tank, and overall the tank looked pretty dang good inside. So once we get this stuff here out of that deep V in the bottom and clean it up, I think it's going to be a go. It's going to be a win. We have been pumping, and we've been using this little endoscope camera right here. See it over on the laptop. And there is not a drop of anything left in the tank. I can't say a drop, but it sucked down all it'll suck. I put that tube pointing all around. I have a little plastic insert, stiff plastic tube inside that fuel line, and I can move it all around the bottom of that tank and right down into the deep V of it, and I've just sucked everything it'll suck out of it. I mean, I can't get another drop out. And then I can see really good without that fuel in there, the bottom of the tank. The tank looks pretty good overall inside. So what I was going to show you right now is this. This is my fuel sending unit. This is one that was in the boat, and the gauge was not working. And I had another one here. I know it's funny being in the Philippines and I've got a stock of everything, but I've been doing these boats for years and I usually know what they need. And I sent over stuff that you're commonly going to need, like fuel sending unit. And I sent this one over. It's brand new. Hold on, let me change hands here. This is brand new, and I've had it just sitting here waiting, and it is a direct replacement for it. Of course, it's a different brand. This is like an aluminum rod. This is a stainless steel rod, actually better. This is a direct replacement. Got the right everything on it. Looks like the exact same hole pattern, the whole kit and caboodle. I may have a new gasket with this thing also. I'll look here and see, but there it is. So I'm gonna put a brand new sending unit in, and I ordered a new gauge for the dash. Now, not gauges, but gauge. I saw a boat. Let me show you this. I saw another boat. So this isn't my idea. I'm not a genius here on this or nothing. I'm just borrowing somebody else's well thought out plan. That they took this same Garmin unit and they flushed it into the dash right here. And when I seen that, and I screenshot it, or actually I stopped, it was in a video, and I stopped the screen up there and took pictures of my TV with that, and I bookmarked that video. Real short little 3-minute video of a guy just showing his boat for sale. He wasn't showing what work he did. He was just showing he's selling it. And I stopped at the dash because I looked, and this Garmin unit was sunk into the dash right here. And I said, holy cow, man, I like that. I don't really want this right here. And so I ran out right then with a measuring tape, and I pulled this all off, and I measured in here with the unit itself. And I measured in here, and sure enough, it fits in there. And he had rearranged his gauges, and his switches. He made a new panel, of course, you know, and he rearranged some of the switches and the gauges, and he made it work. Well, I found a single gauge that replaces this gauge, this gauge, this gauge, and this gauge. 4 gauges into one. And that'll give me one gauge will cover all that. And then I found the same company makes the speedometer and the tachometer on a single gauge. So if I get that, that leads me down to just mainly 2 gauges besides this little up down right here. And I don't need all of this spread out so far apart. So I'm gonna make a nice mahogany dash panel, and I'm gonna sink this Garmin unit right into it right here. And then the new gauges don't have all this wiring cluster like this too. Look at that mess. Look at that. I can eliminate all of this mess down. The old school way was just, I mean, all of these is possible places of corrosion and trouble, and man, all of it. This is probably one of the biggest things that needs to be updated on this boat. I won't have a wiring issue. I didn't want to cut anywhere or drill any more holes in the boat, so at the moment, while I've still been working on it, I've had the wire sticking out the bottom. So I look forward to that. Cap and I, we looked up for a square drill bit for cutting out squares and rectangle holes. So when I make the new dash panel, I can cut for all my switches. And I'll probably double stack these switches. Instead of like being 6 wide right here, there'll be 3 wide in 2 rows. And do it like that. And then I can put that main gauge probably over to this left hand side, and I'll probably just put this little I'll figure it out. I'll probably put the one with the tack and the speedometer over here, and I'll probably put the other one that's going to be about this size and 4-in-1 over here, and then I'll just need to find a place for the up down. It's going to work out. I might go ahead and order me a new ignition switch too. This one works, but it's old, and probably just go ahead and put a new switch in it and have that reliability. Easy peasy. I'm going to video it up close there. It looks pretty dang clean, Cat.
That's what I was thinking. Pull your air cleaner off and see if it's squirting.
Well, it's low tide out there right now. So, this storm popped up just a bit ago, and it tried to hit pretty good, but I think it went around us, so it's a good thing. But man, that's the problem of launching out here, and you got a beach that can get a rough surf, man. It can be calm and then turn rough. You can get the boat out, but you might not get it back in. What if that storm ended up lasting for a couple of days? So meanwhile, brought the boat back in. I've trying to change out a nipple back there in the cylinder on the power steering line, the return line, that nipple that comes out of the cylinder. Cap and I had put the boat out. We saw that the boots was leaking on the manifold, those rubber boots, and this clamp right here was not tightening up, and as you see, it was all swelled out and busted. But I got a lot more of these clamps, so that's not a problem. So I'll go grab one and get that switched out. Went through and retightened, retorqued everything on the manifolds. I had torqued them, but I guess after that things got really good, running warm, those riser gaskets settled down. They're kind of a thick gasket, and I had to retorque them. I saw water dripping around them, and sure enough, put a ratchet on them. They were loose, and retorqued them back to 33 foot-pounds again. That man thing. Water's cold. Boy, it is just beautiful out here right now. Beautiful, man. Look at this. what a beautiful day. Tell you right now, if you're looking for high action, wanting to see me full throttle like I'm in a racing boat hauling butt across the water, well, you're not going to get it here. I am at the point in my life I just want to chill and slow cruise and enjoy the moment. Actually, I didn't even want a speed boat. I just wanted a big old catamaran and just chug along, man. Just smooth sailing, chug along. And I can sip on fuel right here, same thing doing this. Just chug along. Don't push it up too much where it's stuck in a well, not all the way up on plane. Shoot, man. How can you enjoy the beauty like this if you're just hauling butt and looking for obstacles, you know? Beautiful. Man, what a beautiful day out here on the water. Melinda's up there grilling or cooking up food. She said we're going to eat together in the Bay Kubo up there. So this boat needs a bath, and the girls is going to get out there and give it a sponge bath. I wonder if I can get in on that action. I want a sponge bath too. Oh man, beautiful day. Look how pretty that water is, man.